Okay, just doing a quick. All right, so I just did my first Total Gym official workout. There it is. Just did this Rosalie Brown, and she's like the voice of Total Gym. She's the main QVC fitness trainer for Total Gym, and she has her own YouTube channel. And I just did her core workout, core cable flow workout, and I had it on the highest Total Gym incline setting um, that you can have with the middle pulley setup. So it's like number 7 out of 8, and she has it like halfway down her tower. So I just immediately started it twice as hard as what she does, and I could not. There's one set I could not finish. It was like my muscles were could not handle it. So it was definitely a really good core workout. And I've been studying the workout scene. Um, I've been starting to practice stretching, working on the splits, like what it means to go into the splits. And the secret is you have to roll your hips, and there's a certain stretch to do that. To learn how to roll your hips, basically you have to stand up on some elevation like boxes or chairs, and then hold some weights, and then that will pull you forward and teach your hips to roll forward. And otherwise, you will never be able to do the side splits because your bones will lock into each other, the femur bone and the hip bone, or yeah. And so that's like a lot of fascinating little secrets. I learned another secret on side kicks, just basically holding your shin. You grab onto your shin and you pull up your knee, and then when you rotate your foot 180 degrees, then you pull your leg sideways, and that's how you can practice actually learning learning to do the side kick. And you're holding onto a chair with your other hand, or a post or something, some kind of railing, or so there's a lot of really cool tricks as far as workout training. um then I started watching these. There's a brand new steroid documentary, and basically a lot of the bodybuilders died early already because of the steroid use. So the steroids definitely are like the um really the dark side to bodybuilding, where you're pretty much required to be on steroids in order to be a top level bodybuilder, and then you're guaranteed to have serious health effects, and a lot of them don't survive. they There's a brand new documentary. There's like a dozen top bodybuilders that already got killed by their steroid use. So it's like just not worth it, obviously. But now it's become mainstream for people to be on some kind of synthetic growth hormone. So anyway, that's another fascinating thing about workouts. And what I found fascinating is the connection with like the growth of fascism in the US, or just in the West in general, because you found this with in the 30s too, where the workouts culture became a big deal, where it was like there was this obsession with the male physique. And there's a bit of I think Mel Brooks really nailed it with that, with his sort of focusing on the repressed homoerotic fixations of the male body, or whatever. This goes back to like Greek Western culture. Camille Paglia's book, Sexual Personae. That's what that's all about. Is that Western civilization is essentially actually like homosexual, and this fascination with the male muscles and everything. So this is in contrast to Eastern meditation, which then gets exposed as supposedly fake. So there's some really great new videos where the Western mixed martial artists are beating up the traditional Eastern masters. But I just point out that the real masters are focused on healing and not these like they don't get involved in these superficial fighting tournaments. And yeah, maybe they would lose, because they're not like focused in that kind of training. But on the other hand, I'm sure there are some real masters out there that if they chose to, they could do some serious damage. But the thing is that that's why they focus on healing, because when you get to a certain level, the energy is too it's what they call non-dualism. In the West can't even understand what non-dualism is, because it's the whole enlightenment experience is that you have no loss of individual limitation. So this is what Qigong Master Jim Nance talks about, where he was a kung fu master in the 60s and he always won, but then he saw his opponent in slow motion, and it's in his book, I'm sure. I can't remember in detail, but he prefers, it's better for him to talk about his own life. So, but the point being that he was told to train in qigong because of that advanced level where you end up focusing on healing. Same thing with qigong master Robert Peng, where he had a serious fight and he injured somebody, and he was like, well, I never want to do that again. It's just too dangerous. And so he focused on healing. So it's like these showcase fights where they're beat up the fake masters. Well, if you're a real master, you would not stoop to that kind of showmanship um, fight anyway. So it's kind of a paradox, right? Because like I already mentioned in my interviews, like Joe Rogan doesn't understand the physiology involved in advanced meditation. And first of all, you have to have celibacy required, and you have to and I mean, the meditation part is like the key secret, and the West is not based on meditation at all. It's like that's considered the biggest waste of time. So it's a lot easier to do physical workouts, because if you're in your room working out to, making noise, grunting, then you're not, then people can see that you're actually working and you're not, wasting your time or whatever. So, when in Rome, do act like Romans or whatever. So it's good for me to work out anyway. I need to focus, especially when you get older. You do have to focus on keeping your muscles, building up what muscle you can, and not having atrophy and all that. So anyway, yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot, but I also feel like there's just this whole other level when the secrets of meditation are just actually Paul Chek gets into this. He's a total gym promoter. He worked with the Total Gym company for a while. He worked for them, and he's worked with the Total Gym trainers, and but he also focuses on qigong meditation, the microcosmic orbit. And so like in the Total Gym training videos, they'll actually say, well, put your tongue against the roof of your mouth. And as soon as I heard them say, like, well, hold on a second here, that's from qigong meditation. So then I've discovered, oh, it's actually Paul Chek. Paul Chek is the connection between Total Gym and Qigong meditation, because he's the one who focuses on keeping your tongue against the roof of your mouth. And he's, I mean, essentially the key secret is what they call parasympathetic rebound. So Like, for one thing, you wanna clear out your colon every night before you go to sleep, so you can do that with squatting, which is really an easy way to clear out your colon if you just squat for, like, 10 minutes or something. That's gonna do it because your legs are so much stronger. You can get that parasympathetic rebound by pushing your, sympathetic nervous system to the extreme. But another exercise I found that works really well is doing, dips. If I do I take the middle pulley off the total gym, and then I do, like, 27 dips, and my upper body will be pushing it works the lats and the triceps and all that, but it also works your abdominal like, your upper abdominal muscles, and then, pretty soon that'll so you can do both. You can clear up you can do squats, and you can squat, and you can do dips, and so you have more muscles to work with that. So what I'm saying is that Total Gym has that, benefit of doing different exercises that normally would be kinda hard to do, like, the real reason I wanna get was the butterflies, because I grew up, studying music. I played soccer and I rode bicycle, so I used to walk a lot too. I'd walk across the city, we didn't give it a second thought. I'd go walk for, like, 4 hours. But, but yeah, so I was like, people complain they would do testosterone because they had super skinny legs or something. I'm like, "Wait, hold on a second. I played soccer and I never, thought I never had I never even gave it a thought." I just ate food and played sports. I wasn't even serious about sports. I quit when I was 15, got really into music, but then I also was, riding bicycle just to commute. I started commuting across the city and kept that up. I rode along the Mississippi River when I was out of high school. Like that first summer, I rode, I don't know, a couple 100 miles or something just for fun. So, just doing exercise for fun and then working. You start working manual labor jobs in factories. Did that my first summer out of college, and yeah, so just kind of, and then as soon as I graduated college, I'm biking. I was became vegan, vegetarian, so that diet also makes a big difference. Obviously, I became vegetarian when I was 15. So the thing is like when you're young and your hormones are really strong, then you don't need as much food for your energy, so you can build muscle without needing as much food. So, anyway, these are just different factors because obviously we got a food crisis globally. We got like 100 million people in Africa and acute food insecurity because of global warming and genocidal famine in Gaza. And, so it's like people in the US are fixated on building up muscle and whatever. It's just really kind of tragic. But the so any rate, it's obviously you got to maintain some kind of health. So the interesting thing about muscle is you burn more calories just sitting around because you have to do protein synthesis, muscle synthesis. So when you work out, your body has to build up more muscle to repair itself from basically beating yourself up when you so the whole point is like if in order to make your muscles bigger, you have to deplete the chemical energy of your muscle cells. And then but what another key thing was they're saying that there's a big difference between strength and muscle size. And so the key to strength is are your tendons. And that's another benefit of the Total Gym is it focuses on stretching, a lot of stretching involved when you're working with cables and resistance, variable resistance. And so you can also do a lot of stretching exercises. So that's another thing I found, like, when if I'm doing a lot of squats or whatever, then you build up muscle, but your tendons get really tight, so then you have to stretch. And that's the other thing they teach about stretching is that it's a lot easier to learn to stretch if you, inhibit your other muscles, like the opposite side of what you're trying to stretch. If you then tighten those muscles, then you can then it'll automatically stretch out. And they have a term for this. It's like propriomuscular nervous system or something like that. But so yeah, even that stuff, which is it's all real fascinating. It still doesn't get into the deeper level of meditation where you're dealing with basically like biophotons and spirit and the secret energy of the universe that's really like quantum force that's anti-gravitational. It's like magnetic, and it's really non-Western. It's based on a non-Western philosophy. So I mean, as cool as fun as it is to learn like how to do the splits or how to do kicks and stretch really well and build up your tendons. Obviously, like tendon strength is really key. Like when you're doing horse stance for qigong, but you're not going to be able to do that unless you combine it with meditation and celibacy. So in the West, you're not going to get that component of meditation and celibacy that are really the key to storing up that charge, the charge of the tendons and your collagen. Because tendons are basically collagen. So as fascinating as the Western exercise is, there's still this deeper level that I feel like I was really lucky to just like short circuit the whole Western exercise scene and go right into this deep meditation energy level. So I could see ghosts and stuff like that, have precognition and experience telekinesis and telepathy and stuff. And now I can go back and just work on grounding the energy back into my physical body, um, for building up muscle and tendon strength, and then combining that with the meditation, because obviously as you age, you gotta maintain physical strength. And there's some really good kung fu, like old school kung fu movies where you have the masters will come back and they're like really shaking, their muscles are shaking. That's what I was just experiencing. And my muscles were just really shaking. It's like, they're like, come on, you can do it, because it's like, um, basically the source of the power is from the chi energy. So if you have that foundation where you can tap into the source of the energy, um, I mean, anyway, it's kind of so it's all connected basically. Uh, but I was a bit surprised at just how bad these bodybuilding scene is in terms of steroids. Like I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize there's this brand new documentary. I sent it to a friend of mine. Let's see if I can find it. I'll post it in the chat. Um, yeah, here it is. Okay. Okay, so there you go. That's my link for my talk here. If you watch that documentary, it's really tragic that these huge, these guys with just gigantic muscles, and then their organs are just disintegrating internally, and they had open these guys up, and it's just a total mess inside their bodies. I mean, it's um it's really bizarre because we're such a as a westernized culture where it's like seeing is believing and we're just really focused on external visual reality. So any rate, I've been like watching all the total gym videos on YouTube and everything. I'm probably up to like 1,000 videos that I've watched, and I'm fascinated by all the nuances. There's been like over 50 different models of total gym that have been released, and um like Chuck Norris, he was gonna have to get surgery for his rotator cuff, and he didn't want to get surgery, and so his trainer hooked him up with the Total Gym, and that was in the '70s when it first came out, and he said he healed himself right away, so he didn't need surgery, and he's been using it ever since. And then they show his son, and his son's like climbing a rope with his arms, so that's really impressive. I mean, um, he's just like Chuck Norris calls it, it's his mean lean training machine, and so the idea is like, well, you're not gonna really bulk up, into really big muscles. But on the other hand, if you hook up the resistance bands, which I've been doing, you can definitely you can definitely max out your reps. So you're doing low reps and um really, zeroing out your muscle chemicals so you fatigue your muscles and um there's even like isometric maxing out where you can't even like do one rep. I mean it's so if if you wanted to, I mean, obviously, again, like you have to eat like tons of protein because you have to rebuild all the muscle, and then you know, as soon as you do that, like you're trying to compete with guys that are doing steroids and stuff, and then so it's totally different. So I mean, the total gym is about balancing um, muscle growth with strength, with the tendons and stretching the tendons and like even the Pilates videos, like if you watch the women doing the Pilates, those stretching exercises they're really hard to do. Some of those are like I've never, you know, um, so they like the abductor inner thigh stretching with the Pilates pulley foot attachments. Those work really well. The lunges and you can do a front stretch, hip like splits, front splits, using the sliding bench. You can do side splits, work on your abductor, your short abductor. The So I mean, there's a lot of different varieties. So yeah, I think, like, if you look at the, Qigong training, it is out of the martial arts school in China. So, basically, they're assuming like, if you read the Taoist Yoga book, he's assuming you're doing martial arts training. He never once says it in the book, but that's he originally wrote the book for martial arts students. And some of the older, Qigong books, they first are doing the martial arts exercises. So, some like a lot of the qigong teachers, they'll say, well, I mean, in the West, they're teaching qigong just like it's yoga or whatever, but originally they did not do it without doing serious martial arts workouts. So, like when Trini Lin, when I took his level 3 retreat in 2000, he said, "Okay, we're going to do standing exercise for 2.5 hours." He said, "We're going to do moving of yin and yang meditation for 2.5 hours." And of course, that did not happen because nobody could have done that. But that was like he was still like I don't because I remember like Jim said something to me like he had to kind of point it out to Chun Yi. It's like okay, these are you're dealing with Westerners. They're not because in China you're supposed to just do what the teacher says. Don't ask any questions because it's considered insulting to question the teacher. You're supposed to just obey and follow and not really think about it. And anyway, so yeah, it's the obviously if you're doing like moving of yin and yang and as with the like a horse stance kind of thing, um, that's probably better than doing the total gym, I would think, because if you combine that with meditation and the celibacy and all that, but but I mean, even like at Shaolin or whatever, they're doing upper body, they're doing exercises. I'm sure they use some kind of tools to work out or whatever. So one of the things they're selling now is this stretch machine where you put your legs in a device and you turn a wheel and it slowly cranks your legs apart. And it's, like, really scary, but it works. I mean, but they're saying, like, this is like, in China, you'd have 2 people pulling your legs apart, or you'd have ropes. I mean, they have this in the kung fu training movies, that's how they teach them how to do the stretches, but, of course, the problem is, again, you have to make sure you're rotating your hip forward, or else your bones are just gonna start grinding against each other, and or else you have to turn your hips back. So I'm probably gonna get this, there's this thing called the Psy Stretch Band that this, taekwondo master sells, and, let's see if I'll post a link for that, but at any rate, it's he has it so you can slowly tighten the band. You have it around your feet, and then you strap it. It's like a strap, and it goes under your thighs too, and then around your back, and then you just slowly tighten it, and then it pulls your feet apart. And so it's essentially the same thing as having two people pulling your legs apart, or ropes. Like you see that in the movies where they make pulley contraptions in these kung fu movies. The So yeah, it's pretty it's not the total gym's not that far off from what you see in these kung fu movies where they just throw a rope over a beam or whatever and yank your leg up or whatever, and they tie up both your feet and start pulling on it. Um, but some people have asked me, well, how do you get into full lotus? And um, I mean, like my main point is, well, if you meditate, you will start feeling this electromagnetic chi energy, and that will cause your bones to get limber and your tendons, and you'll be like a baby. You'll be really pliable. And I mean, it's hard to believe. Like at the time that happened to me, there was so much other energy stuff going on that I never thought about it in physical terms. I never thought like, oh, I could do the splits now, like if I wanted. Like I never tried to do the splits. I mean, I was so focused on the meditation, I wasn't really trying to like I should have been. I should have been more physically focused and realized that I had to ground the energy back into my body and do more active exercises to store up the energy and whatever, to maintain celibacy is, purification and all that. And that's another great thing about the total gym. I mean, if you're feeling any kind of lower emotional blockages, like anger, or fear, or worry, sadness, or lust, you can just hop on the Total Gym and then really work your muscles, and then it does an exorcism. And of course, just talking about it is like a blockage in itself. So that's why in the real qigong masters, he's like, "You're not paying me to talk. You're just paying me for the healing." So that's what makes it a mysterious initiation process. So, oh yeah, here's Jim Nance's book in case anybody hasn't seen it yet. So let's see if he talk about his. I'm sure he's probably got it in here. From Drapes to Zen. I'm looking. Oh, here it's Kung Fu, page 61. Let's see. One day, as we sparred, something mysterious took place. Suddenly, everything I saw began moving in slow motion. When my opponent went to strike, I saw his incremental movement, his balance shifted, his knee rose, and then ever so slowly his leg extended into a kick. It looked almost as if he was moving underwater, yet even more slowly. While in that state of calm mind, as the strike came toward me, I raised my hand and lightly, with only two fingers, I moved his foot aside. This happened again and again. It was like a slow motion animation. I hardly had to move, only slightly, like flicking my fingers, and I could block every strike that my opponent made. Every time we fought, it was this way. If he tried to punch, I could gently shift my body to the side, and he'd completely miss me. If he kicked, I shifted the trajectory of his foot with barely a glance. Um, okay, it goes on like this. Uh, Okay. So I noticed the Chinese master was watching us from the side of the room. Once again, as we fought, I saw everything move in slow motion. I could see the movement they were about to make before they made it. When they struck out ever so slowly, I stepped aside and shifted the direction of their strike with the touch of my finger. After every fight, though, tears fell from my eyes. I never knew why. The tears would just come, it was out of control. Uh, the Chinese master saw this. He approached me. "Everything is moving in slow motion for you, isn't it?" He asked right away, in front of my sparring partners. Seeing the startled look on my face, he went on, "It is highly unusual what you are doing." Oh, yeah, so and then he goes, he says, some people will train for many years, even their whole lives to reach this level. This is highly unusual. There's nothing I can teach you. You need to study with someone. Um, there's no master in this country who can teach you, perhaps in China, but no one who speaks English. You must stop training in kung fu right away, or you will hurt yourself deeply. Your spirit is already getting hurt, and you are injuring it every time you spar. You must stop and walk away now. You should learn qigong. Find a qigong master to teach you. So there you go. That's pretty wild. That's page 63 to 65. All right. I'm gonna go take a shower.